Today we're going to begin a new chapter on post-processing, a very important skill, but we're going to do it differently.
I'm going to take this exact same photo and show you how to create two completely different feelings, solitude and danger, using just these three sliders.
We all know these sliders, don't we? Hue, saturation, luminance. But when we open our software, we get lost between the sliders and the terminology. We tend to use them on intuition, dragging them back and forth till we get an image that looks good. This is why our edits seem to be disconnected, inconsistent, and ineffective. Today, that stops. I'm going to show you how to edit not with intuition but with intention, so that color just stops being a pretty aesthetic and becomes a powerful tool which conveys emotions. And we're going to do that with a question-first approach that is inspired not by a photographer but by a poet. So here goes. Question 1. What is the dominant emotion? Question 2. Is the color the hero or a distraction? Question 3. Where is the safety? And if you think that this is just another video on the color wheel, old wine, new bottle, blah blah blah, think again. On that note, without further ado, let's begin with question 1. What is the dominant emotion? Now the answer to this is going to be your hue. Hue is nothing but the identity of the color. Think of it as a specific tube of paint that you pick off from the shelf. Now what is important is to pick the right tube. And in order to do that, we're going to use the poet Goethe's framework. He saw it as a battle between the plus side and the minus side. So what are these sides? The plus side is action, force, and high energy. The minus side, on the other hand, is solitude, shadow, and low energy. So for my photo, I wanted solitude. And solitude has no energy. It's quiet. So I choose the minus side.
To shift this energy, you can use your temperature slider for a quick global change. But I find the color grading wheels to be immensely useful here because they don't just let you pick the color, they let you adjust the exact intensity of that emotion.
So bottom line, just try to identify the energy of the emotion that your photograph is trying to convey. I'll bring back my street photograph. And suppose in this case, I want to show a scene of tension, of danger. Then it's going to automatically move to the plus side and I'm going to change the hue of my photograph towards the reds. Now that we have our character, we have our hue, we're going to move to slider number 2, which is saturation. This is the voice of the image. So let's bring back the paint tube analogy. Now saturation is how much you dilute the paint before you use it. If you have no dilution, you have maximum saturation, then your colors are going to look very vivid. So when we start out, we tend to use this slider a little more liberally. We use it to make the colors pop. What we don't realize is not all colors in all photographs need to pop at all points of time. The question to ask here is the color the hero or is it just a distraction? Ask yourself this one simple question. Is the color the essence of the photograph? A strawberry is its redness. A festival is its vibrancy. If you take this color away, you kill the subject, you kill the mood. So here, the color is the hero, which is why if that is the aim of your photograph, we turn it up. But if the answer is no, then color just becomes a distraction. And in this case, we're going to dial down the saturation. For example, if the story is about the wrinkles on a face or the shapes in a dark alley, then bright colors are just noise. They steal attention from the texture, which is why we decrease it to let the real story come forward. Now let's look at our street. The story is in the shadows, the emptiness. Get rid of this noise so that you can focus only on the emotion of the photograph. Now a quick pro tip for you here. Saturation is like a blunt instrument. It turns up the volume overall in the entire picture. So sometimes you may want to use vibrance instead, especially if it's a portrait, if you have human figures in the photograph. Because vibrance is smart saturation. It looks at the image, finds the muted colors and boosts them while protecting the colors that are already saturated. Rule of thumb, Use saturation for graphics, use vibrance for people. And finally, we have our slider number 3, which is luminance. This is the secret sauce, and we're going to use it like that. We're going to use it selectively because this slider can control the mood of the image.
Luminance is how dark or how light we choose to make it by adding in pure black or pure white.
So the question that we have to ask here is, where is the safety in the photograph? Psychologically, our brain maps safety to brightness. Bright feels open, it feels safe. On the other hand, dark feels a little mysterious. There's some peril, there's some danger in there. So we're going to use this technique selectively in our photograph to create tension.
This is a scene of solitude, but there is that safe hope in the light at the end of the tunnel. So I will boost the luminance of the yellows and oranges to make it feel like a safe pocket. But for the danger edit, I want to completely destroy that feeling of safety. I want the viewer to feel like there's something lurking right beside them in the blackness, which is why I will drop the luminance of the walls until they are pitch black. I started the video by saying that it was inspired by a poet and not a photographer. That poet is David Whyte. And he says that the marvelous thing about a good question is that it shapes our identity as much by asking as it does by the answering. Art is the same. When we ask the right questions, the math becomes simple, the sliders stop being so technical, and this entire process becomes our vocabulary. But before we close, I want you to remember 2 very important things. First, that not always will you need to use all the 3 sliders. It's not a checklist that you force onto every single photograph. Sometimes just tweaking the luminance a little bit is all that the photograph needs. And point number 2, post-processing is a vast and complex topic. What we covered today of how we can use color to express emotion is one part of it. And over the course of the next few videos, I will take you through different parts of post-processing in the same manner, where we learn to edit not with intuition but with intention by asking the right questions. Meanwhile, when you open your editing software, stop reaching for the mouse and begin by asking the right questions. I will see you in the next one. Bye.